Hello everybody, today we're back with another What I Eat in a Day as a Fat Person video, and we're not going to waste any time and we're just going to get straight into it, so let's go.
What I eat in a day as a fat girl who's not on a diet. Started my day off with an ube latte. Then my husband made me some pancakes and fruit for breakfast.
I don't know what an ube latte is, or what she said, ube latte.
Off with an ube latte.
But it looks very, very milky, and she's got some soy milk here, and soy milk isn't the worst choice, it's not the best either of all the milk alternatives, but yeah, it's not a bad start to your day, some caffeine in there, and the fact that it's like purple does suggest that it's got some kind of like berry or something in it, so that's not horrendous. It's quite a nice colour, to be fair. You kind of get this colour when you blend up blueberries, which is really tasty. And
then my husband made me some.
Her breakfast looks really solid as well, to be honest to her. So she's got 2 pancakes and they look really, really well cooked. And then she's got the bananas and the strawberries and some butter. And I do find it odd when you see Americans with butter on pancakes. It's not something that we do in the UK. Like, I've never done that. And then you've got obviously the syrup. But overall, it's not a horrendous breakfast. I actually think it's quite good. This is something that I would have on occasion, minus the butter. But let's just see how much.
Pancakes and fruit for breakfast.
So she was still pouring the syrup when she stopped filming. So we don't know how much she used, and we don't know if that was her only portion. So we're going to assume that it was. It was quite a bit of syrup already before she stopped filming. But as I said, it's not that bad of a breakfast, so she can't really be faulted for that. And then she says the next thing is a dirty lettuce PDX 100% plant-based. Okay. I don't know what this is, some kind of drink by the looks of things.
Then we headed over to Dirty Lettuce. This is our first time here, so we...
Okay, so she got some mac and cheese, and it looks like pretty good mac and cheese, to be honest. The husband has some, I would assume, fried cauliflower bites, and it looks like fried chicken, but this is plant-based, so I don't know what it is. It's deep fried and it's fried, and it's cheesy pasta, so it's not the best choices, but she's at the restaurant, so that's to be expected.
Just got a bunch of things. It was so delicious.
Christ, that is a humongous portion. It doesn't matter that it's plant-based, that is a massive portion, and it looks fried or deep fried. So even if it's deep fried carrots, it's still deep fried, so you still got the batter and you've still got the oil that it was cooked in, which isn't great. And so there was a side of mac and cheese. I would assume that's then the husband's, and then she's got mac and cheese, and she's got like a coleslaw-y thing here, and then all of this fried stuff. That is a humongous portion. I was actually quite shocked, to be honest. But if this is the only thing that she's eating with the pancakes, it's not that bad, but I would assume that this is very calorically dense, and surprisingly so.
I mean, their fried chicken, look at...
Oh, so it's not plant-based. Okay, fair enough.
Like, so bomb. Amazing.
Fair enough. I thought she was plant-based, but no, that chicken looked good. It did look like good fried chicken, but it's also fried chicken, so it's full of oil and fat. It's not like having chicken breast, but she didn't eat much the rest of the day if that was all she ate, so it's not horrendous. So overall, her calories wouldn't have been that high, but her fat content would have been quite high throughout the day just because of the deep fried stuff. But if it was like a one-off, it's not that bad. And as I said, she didn't eat much the rest of the day, so to have a bigger dinner or a bigger lunch, whatever it was, does kind of make sense.
Y'all really like to see what I'm eating, so here you go with another little vidya. I started my morning off with some skinty tea and a...
Skinty tea, I think they're kind of, in my opinion, I think they're kind of scammy, because anything that tells you you're going to lose weight just by drinking this tea, it just makes you go to the toilet, and you're not actually losing weight, you're losing water weight, or you're emptying your bowels. So of course you're going to weigh less. But I think it is a bit of a gimmick, to be honest, and I think it does prey on people's insecurities to tell them, oh, just drink this tea and you'll lose weight. And I think it's wrong, to be honest. But starting a day off with tea in general is obviously nothing wrong with that. I start my morning off with English tea practically every single day, and she had a big bottle of what looked like water, so that's a really solid start to your morning. It's really good to start off your day with water.
Giant glass of water. When I got to work, I didn't have any breakfast, but I had these little Prime brownie bites in my...
That's her breakfast. So she's had dessert for breakfast. And I know she says she didn't have breakfast, but everybody has breakfast. The first thing that you eat is technically breakfast. So having packaged brownies, and although it does say that I think it's like 99 calories a serving, it's not the worst choice in the world, but also it's for breakfast. You don't need dessert for breakfast. They do this so often. And it's not frustrating because it doesn't affect me. I don't care what they do, and it's interesting to see. But again, there are so many different options that you can choose for breakfast that are quick, easy, and can be made in advance, so you can just pick them up and go. Boiled eggs, egg cups, diced chicken breast with an omelette, something like that. Avocado on toast, obviously that can't be made in advance, but you could make a breakfast sandwich, and you can make those in advance. You can even freeze breakfast sandwiches if you want to. So you can even have like cooked sausages in the fridge and then really quickly make a sandwich and then take that in for breakfast. Or you could have sausages with boiled eggs and some lettuce or something like that. So again, you don't need to have breakfast foods for breakfast, but there are options that you can have that are very quick and easy that don't leave you eating brownies for breakfast, because that's a really terrible choice. Even though it is low calorie and it does look like one of those we're better for you, we're really good brownies for you to have, like we're healthy, then it's got chocolate on it, so it's still going to spike your blood sugar and it's going to make you hungry all day. And I wouldn't be surprised if she eats more desserts later in this day and probably for lunch, but we'll see what she does.
I got to work. I didn't have any breakfast, but I had these little Prime brownie bites in my locker as an emergency stash.
Again, so she's had that in her locker as an emergency stash, and it's not the worst thing to have as an emergency because it is packaged. But there are other options that you can have that are packaged and long lasting that won't make you spike your blood sugar like that. So you could have, say, rice cakes in there with some peanut butter, or you could just have a bag of apples that you replenish every week, if depending on how consistent you are with going to your locker. I don't know what drinks you had either, so I don't know what that was. But there are other options, and I think this is why it's so important to have things in the fridge that is just ready to grab and go. And yeah, I mean, she is a really big girl, so there are other options.
Pretty much every day I have a seltzer, and then for lunch I had the other half of my Subway from the food that I had yesterday.
That sandwich was pretty big, so it's good that she'd only had half of it as a serving, because that's crazy. That's a massive sandwich. I don't know if she's going to tell us what it was in it, but having a sandwich and a bag of popcorn for lunch is fairly standard. It's not the worst thing, and if she has veggies in a sandwich, and that's fantastic. But it was very thick bread. I'm not going to slight sandwiches. I love bread and I love sandwiches, so I feel her on this. But instead of having popcorn, which to be fair is a pretty good choice compared to normal crisps, then you could have an apple or a banana, pot of strawberries, something like that instead. Carrot sticks with hummus. There are different things that you can do, but overall it's not that bad of a lunch.
If you're not wrapping it in plastic, you're fucking up, because that paper does not keep it fresh. It literally
Destroying our planet. Okay.
really tasted just as good as it was yesterday. And then I really wanted to hit up the drive-thru, as I always do when I get off, but I knew I was not going to be able to work out like I really wanted to. So instead I just made this weird little snack, and
she said that she didn't hit up the drive-thru because she wasn't going to be able to work out. And so that to me reads as her mentality is she can eat fast food as long as she goes to the gym, or as long as she works out, whoever she chooses to do that, which isn't really the case. You will never ever ever be able to burn more calories than you eat if you're eating stuff like fast food. It is incredibly difficult to burn calories. I used to run a lot, and I used to run consistently in the gym when it was really cold and I was in a different place. I used to run in the gym for an hour running, and I would run 8-9 miles in an hour. That would still only burn about 500 calories. That's not a McDonald's burger. So it is very difficult, and I was exercising quite hard. And I think people fall into this trap where they do believe that if you go to the gym and your Fitbit or your Apple Watch or whatever you're wearing tells you that you've burnt 700 calories, that you can then go and eat 700 calories. It doesn't work like that. First of all, the watches aren't accurate. They don't know your metabolic standing, And you can have two people that weigh the same and have completely different metabolic rates. I'm not saying that somebody's going to have a metabolic rate so low that if they eat 500 calories, they're going to gain weight. That's bollocks. But somebody who's got more muscle mass is going to burn more calories than somebody who's got more fat mass. So they are slightly different. And as I said, people do seriously overestimate how many calories they're burning, which then leads them to overeat, to causes them to gain weight, which is counterintuitive to go into the gym in the first place. If you're going to the gym, you're much better off making better choices surrounding that then fuel your workouts, rather than eating McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever takeout food that she was going to get before you go and exercise, because it's going to affect your workout, because you're not going to have the energy to do it anyway, because you're going to feel sluggish and full. So it is kind of silly. But this snack that she's made instead is much better. So she's got some olives and edamame or something, and some of that water tok stuff that everybody's talking about. It's not that bad of a snack, to be honest. It looks pretty good. She could improve it by adding a little bit of protein, whether that's like a boiled egg or some tuna or chicken or whatever she wants. But overall, it's not that bad.
Took the vitamins that I forgot to take this morning. And I was helping my friend dye her hair at the time. That's why my fit is so crazy. But that was not an excuse to miss the workout. So I kept it going. And then when my man came home, we had chicken tostadas.
That looks really good as well. It's good that she's got one tortilla or whatever it is, instead of having two or having it folded up as a taco. And there's nothing wrong with tacos. It just makes you eat the bread really fast. But this looks really good. She's got some avocado. It looks like some rice with some veggie things and some chicken. Yeah, that's really solid. It looks really good.
And I did help myself to a little bit of dessert because I worked hard and I wanted it.
Yeah, see, again, this is where they're falling into the trap of, I worked out so I can have dessert. So that dessert probably undid all of her exercise in the gym. So it's kind of, as I said, counterintuitive. So you see it a lot when people get kind of discouraged when they go into the gym and they're working out, and then they complain that they're not losing weight or they're not seeing any gains or whatever. And it's like, what is your diet doing? If your diet is atrocious, well, not even atrocious, if you're eating 300 more calories than you think you're eating, you're not going to see any results in the gym, because you're eating what you worked out, sort of thing. So you're still coming up to maintenance. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with having dessert at the end of the day. But if you're trying to be healthy and you're going to the gym and you're taking yourself out of the house to go to the gym to work out, if you're having desserts every single day, obviously I don't know if this lady is, but she did start her morning with dessert as well, then it's kind of like no real point of going to the gym. You may as well just not go to the gym and not have the dessert, and then you would still be in exactly the same position. I don't know. Oh, so I muted her because of the music. I've got to let my cat in one moment. Sorry, I closed the door on the cats because they wanted to go out, and then they're both scratching to get back in. I shut the door on them. But anyway, I was saying that I muted this lady because of the music in the background. So she's starting her day with a jambon. I don't know what that is. It looks like some kind of pastry. And again, it looks kind of desserty for breakfast, which isn't great. 4 sausage rolls. Yeah, you don't need 4 sausage rolls for breakfast. That's extremely excessive. Christ. And she is a big girl, and I'm not surprised if she's eating pastries and 4 sausage rolls for breakfast. One sausage roll is a serving. You don't need 4. That's just greedy. Four Pink Panther wafers. This cat. These wafers, from what I remember, and I had these probably 15 years ago, they're pretty good, but they're just empty carbs. They're not giving you any benefit for anything. They're tasty, but they're dessert. McDonald's. Double cheeseburger, 12 nuggets, 2 chips, McFlurry, 2 donuts, and 2 drinks. Christ. How does she afford that? First of all. And secondly, you don't need a double cheeseburger and nuggets. Have one or the other. You don't need 2 chips. That's greedy. McFlurry, okay, whatever. But you don't need a McFlurry and 2 donuts. And you don't need 2 donuts anyway. Have 1 donut or 1 McFlurry and 2 drinks. I mean, the drinks is excessive, but they're drinks. So if they're sugar-free, it's neither here nor there. But that's... wow. I'm not surprised she is as big as she is. That's insane. So she's had dessert for breakfast in the pastry thing. She had 4 sausage rolls. Then she had the wafers. And now she's had a McDonald's meal for 2 or 3 people. I was going to say unless she's given half of it to that young man that she's with. But it doesn't look like she's doing... and she's putting the nuggets in the burger. Wow. Wow. I've never seen anything like that. That's crazy. I really have no words. You don't need to do that. And to be honest, I don't believe that's all she ate in that day, to be honest. From the start to the end, I truly don't believe that's all she ate, because that was only like 2 meals. And I just don't believe it. So this lady is also muted because of the sound, but actually let me see if I can isolate her voice and then we'll try again. So I managed to isolate her voice, so we're going to try again.
The fat girl that doesn't care about losing weight, deciding whether to eat my sister's leftover pizza and blame it on the dog that we don't have, choosing to do the right thing. Yum yums.
So I assume she didn't eat the pizza, but eating somebody else's leftovers is kind of egregious, especially if you haven't asked for permission first. But anyway, it's good that she didn't eat it. So she's having Yum Yums for breakfast, which I don't know if that's a better choice than having takeout pizza. It's probably not a worse choice, but also at the same time, it's not the best. Again, it's donuts for breakfast. Very, very reminiscent of these
Always
videos.
have to be heated.
And for those of you who don't know, a Yum Yum is basically a long donut, and sometimes they have this glaze on it, which is like a sugar glaze, and sometimes they don't. But irrespective of the glaze or not, they're still donuts. So donuts for breakfast.
Delicious. And a glass of full fat milk for a full and fat girl.
God, she really downed that, didn't she? Frazzles are crisps, so it's 84 calories in this bag, and the bag isn't very big, but they're still crisps. So we've had donuts, milk, and crisps for
A packet
today.
of Frazzles. Then I cooked some very tasteless cheesy pie.
I'm not surprised that's tasteless, because the cheese looks cheap. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with cheap cheese. Buy what you can afford, but you can still buy cheaper cheese that is tasty and that cooks well. Even if something like a cream cheese, if you added a really nice cream cheese with some like cheddar or something, that would be really, really good. And some pieces of sweet corn. So it's good that she has included the sweet corn, but to make this more tasty and more filling, she could have added broccoli or cauliflower, even celery pieces, some really, really finely diced onions, carrots, peas. You could add anything to it. You could add chicken breast, something like that. You can even stir in some tuna, make it a tuna salad to make it higher in protein, so more filling, and add the veggies to make it more voluminous. So when she ate it, she has the addition of the voluminous food from the veggies and the protein from the chicken or whatever, and the veggies, plus the pasta. That would be a really filling meal, and it would be really, really tasty. So she could make some very easy switches, some really easy changes to make this meal so much more delicious and so much better for her than what she did, and she wouldn't be hungry again in 20 minutes, because I know if I ate that, I'd feel hungry again in about 30 minutes, because there's no volume to it and it's just carbs and a tiny little bit of sweet corn, which is quite carby as well. So it's not a great dinner, but I'm glad that she's cooked something herself, because it's nice after having ultra processed donuts followed by ultra processed crisps. So it's good that she's actually cooked.
Pasta. And a Diet Coke in a huge wine glass so I can
That is a lot of Coke.
feel classy. Me and my boyfriend on the way to the cinema. But first he brought me fries.
I would wonder if she only did eat the fries or if she had something else with it. It wouldn't surprise me if she had something else, just due to the nature of these videos. But also, in the UK, she is in a service station. She's in a petrol station. There are so many options, by the looks of things, by the way. I don't know for sure, but it looks like she's in a petrol station. There are so many options in even tiny little petrol station shops that you can buy. You can buy sandwiches, you can buy little fruit pots, you can buy popcorn, you can buy so many different things. You can probably buy chicken breast in some of them if you go to like Waitrose or something. Or even Tesco, you can probably get chicken breast in the petrol station. There are so many better options that you wouldn't need to spend a couple of quid on some takeout chips that are going to do absolutely nothing for you. So we've had donuts, milk, crisps, bland pasta, McDonald's chips.
Getting some snacks, of course.
Oh, she was in Tesco. She could have got loads of different options instead of just juices, energy drinks, chocolate, and popcorn. I mean, the popcorn's neither here nor there. Popcorn's quite a good snack. But she's got Kit Kats and Dairy Milk Snowman by the looks of things. Sister was filmed around Christmas time. I don't know what year. But irrespective of that, these are quite good. And it's seasonal. So there's nothing wrong with having seasonal foods in seasonal time. There's nothing wrong with that. But the rest of her day has been trash. She had donuts, crisps, bland pasta, and McDonald's chips. You don't need to add chocolate on top of that. That's unnecessary. If she'd have had a proper breakfast and a proper lunch, and then had snacky things, no one would say anything. And I mean, I'm not in a position to say anything anyway. But just as a viewer judging this, she's just had ultra processed food on top of ultra processed food on top of bland pasta. It's just sad.
Late night drives till morning, so we got McDonald's breakfast.
That's crazy to drive around all night. I can't fathom doing something like that. Petrol is expensive. Maintenance on cars is expensive. And why would you not just go home? I mean, it's not my business, but I just find that a bit odd. And McDonald's breakfast again. And this is a huge bag. So I do wonder if these are just kind of the bags that McDonald's are giving out, or if she just bought a lot of food. But there is 2 of them, so.
Hash brown? Amazing.
Deep fried potato. Of course it's nice.
A very dry and disappointing bacon roll.
The thing with stuff like this, when it's not very nice, and that does look disgusting, the way she had to rip that off was crazy. If you don't have to eat it, and I know that sounds very simple, but people do seem to forget that if you don't like a certain food, even if you've paid for it, as annoying as it is, you don't have to finish it. This roll is not worth eating. Not at all. It's a complete and utter waste of calories and a waste of food. She would be much better off throwing that away and making her own bacon sandwich. It's not hard to make a bacon sandwich. You need bread, bacon and butter. And it would taste much better. The bacon would probably be of a higher quality. It would be more flavourful, and you wouldn't break your teeth trying to eat it. So, not the best choice, but if she's out at 5 o'clock in the morning, there are not that many options. But still, there are 24-hour shops, and if she'd have eaten a proper dinner the night before, she might not be so hungry at this time in the morning. But again, she didn't go to sleep, so it's difficult.
So I put the bacon on the pancakes.
I did not know that McDonald's does pancakes, and that was a lot of syrup.
So I put...
That's an awful lot of syrup. I mean, it is only out of this one packet, but I would love to know how many calories and how much sugar is in this tiny little container here, because that looks crazy. But the pancakes look alright. I mean, it's quite difficult to mess up pancakes, to be fair. And the bacon just looks hard and old. Is not something that I would have. And I mean, I don't like bacon, so I wouldn't have it anyway. But there's so many better options in McDonald's breakfast. It's just ultra processed nothingness.
The bacon on the pancakes. Banging.
Welcome back to what...
I'm not surprised that she liked it. It was sugar on fat and carbs. And that's a very tasty combination. It's why cookies and cake is delicious. It's just sugar and fat and carbs. But oh, that was a rough day of eating. I bet she felt horrendous at the end of the day. I know I would have done.
I eat in a day as a plus-size girly. I didn't record my dinner because I haven't eaten it yet, but I'm just gonna have the little pizza bagels from Trader Joe's. Starting off strong, I had a cup of coffee with the Chobani creamer and some of my oatmeal bake. Then I had...
The oatmeal bake did look quite good. So it wasn't... This does look quite nice. I would wonder what this chocolatey stuff is, if it's like Nutella or if it's dark chocolate. But it does look It looks like a fairly good choice. I mean, it's not the best because of the chocolate, but it does seem a lot more balanced than a lot of what the rest of them have. And if you don't like oats and this is the only way that you'll eat it, then okay, fair enough. But one way that you could improve on this but still have the tastiness would be to make the oat bake, but increase the amount of oats, mix it with some mashed bananas, bake that, but also you could sprinkle some chocolate chips through it. So you still get the chocolate, you get the addition of banana, and bananas is delicious, and then you still got more oats, so it would be more filling. It would probably cook more like a cake, but oh well, that's fine. Nothing wrong with having cake for breakfast in these videos. But yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, so fair enough.
Strong, I had a cup of coffee with the Chobani creamer and some of my oatmeal bake. Then
I would love to know how much creamer she used in that coffee, because most of these people tend to have more creamer than coffee.
had these chicken soup dumplings from Trader Joe's. And
I've never had soup dumplings, but from what I've seen, they look pretty good. I mean, they are processed because they came in a package, like they're like hyper processed, but it's not the worst thing in the world again. And depending on what kind of soup and stuff is inside them, and generally they are very like watery, so water based soups, it's not that bad. It's a fairly decent choice. You could just improve it by adding some veggies on the side to make it more filling, but yeah, it's not that bad.
some of this Costco corn muffin. Don't mind that
So that's a dessert by the looks of things. I don't know what a corn muffin is, but it looks like a dessert. I wonder if that's because she had chocolate for breakfast.
it looks all funky, y'all. It was in the freezer, and then I took off the top of it and I put it back in the toaster oven. It was a mess. Then I had
Oh, so that was a together meal. Yes, that was very carb heavy in that case, so she probably would have been better off not having the cake, the corn cake, and having veggies instead, or a side of chicken, diced chicken breast or something like that, rather than just having carbs on carbs.
some apples with peanut butter and my water. If you made it to the end, you're a real one.
You see how much peanut butter she's got on that one apple stick? That is probably half a serving of peanut butter. Peanut butter is so incredibly calorically dense, and it is so easy if you're just spooning, if you're putting your apple into peanut butter and using it as a spoon, it is incredibly easy to eat like 300 calories of peanut butter with your apple, which defeats the purpose of having an apple. Then it becomes the apple is just means of eating peanut butter. An incredibly delicious snack. Apple and peanut butter, like banana and peanut butter, iconic. But if you're going to have something like that and you are being mindful, one thing that would be much better to do would be to weigh out your peanut butter first. So put it in a separate container, weigh out 30 grams or whatever it is that you want. 15 grams is probably enough for a single apple. Then use that. So either melt it or just spoon off little bits of your portioned out peanut butter. You still get the deliciousness of the apple and the peanut butter, but you're not accidentally eating 500 calories of peanut butter. So, yeah, and I would love to know what she had for dinner. Obviously, she said that she hasn't filmed it yet because she hasn't eaten it. But I would be curious to what she had, so it's a shame that she didn't show
The end, you're a real one. Green or red apples. Bye.
Red apples are superior in my opinion, but that's just me. So she is the last video that we've got for today, and I'm sorry this was a bit of a disjointed video, it felt like, and if you heard any background noise, please forgive me, that's my family and my cats. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comments what you thought of these people, and if you eat similar to them, or any other tips and tricks that you can think of for them. Let me know down below if you liked this video, and if you didn't like it, I would like to know so I can improve or continue. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.